me, so you have to ask your professor who is taking the lab. But
All
in the
right.
lab, you have to do the same thing. You look at this. So these are the stuffs you have to buy. I have there are two alternative websites are given, so you can start buying. So let me to tell you things to do in the lab as well as theory. They are all connected. So you have to do first one, that is first cluster of experiment, cluster one. So design, simulation and testing of a low pass digital filter. One, then a notch filter. This is the first cluster of experiment. So this you have to do on an 8-bit platform. So I have already shared in the chat. Okay. I have already shared in the chat what exactly you want to do. So the what you need to buy. So you check it out in these are the things you have to buy. You have to do. Even though it is online, it will not make any difference. Okay, you would have run the same thing in here. So if you do what I am saying, you do lose nothing in embedded system. Okay. So then cluster 2 experiment, you have to measure temperature, humidity, voice record. Then you send it to a web server or a website or cloud, you can say whatever, where you can watch, observe it. So this communication will be through Wi-Fi. That is standard, this IEEE 812.1 network. So this is the IoT based experiment. So this you can achieve through the, I've already shared the ESP32 modem. This is post midterm. All right. So you can try some machine learning, etc. Those will see what you can do. This is cluster 2. The other two things you have to do. Unless you do, you can't learn. So I have shared in the chat box. You have to buy these stuffs. So there are two alternatives given to you. You can buy either from Amazon or you can buy from that electronicscomponent.com. Wherever it is cheaper, and there are some different versions, you can buy them. So this also I am forwarding to all of you in the email. You can check your email whether you have received it or not. I am also sending it to Patita Bhavan. He will forward it to you. Padavan, please forward this to everybody. Pooja, you can forward. Also, I'm sharing to Pooja. All those technical references there, you can put it there in the files. Acha, you have, before you, I'll start the teaching. If you, do you have any questions or doubt about this course? Do you have any questions? So let me share something. We have built several lab prototypes and small commercial prototypes, very few of them. So I'll be giving demos. I'll ask people to give demos. Who is this robot guest? Robot, who are you? Robot.
Sir?
Yeah. So the robot.
So I had one question.
Yeah. Please ask question.
So does this course require any prerequisite or is it
Digital
from basic itself?
Digital electronics. You know digital electronics, right?
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay.
And coding. You know C coding also, data structure coding.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is fine. So you are okay with that. Arvind, are you there? Arvind Gupta? Arvind, are you there? Arvind? Hello, Arvind. Arvind should be there. I think he is there, I see, but I don't know. You are muted. I can't hear you.
Sir, I'll call him and check.
I'm there.
Oh, okay. So Arvind, tomorrow Patita Baban will tell them about this Proteus. Okay. So tomorrow, Tuesday. So you'll be there. Okay. So then, all right. So let's start with the. So these embedded systems is synonymous with this programmable. So I think you guys know about programmable systems, starting from your cell phone, remote control, television, computers, laptops, your motorcycle, cars, typical good car. Do you know how many processors will be there? Arpan Dev? Arpan, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm there. Hello.
So in a typical car, how many processors you are expecting? Yeah, tell me. Arpan. I can't hear you actually. So minimum there will be 30 plus processors. What 32-bit, 16-bit and 8-bit. So these are called processors, are central processing units, and there will be some I/O. So people call them as microcontrollers. All right. You have heard about microcontrollers earlier. Why can't I see them? Arpit Arun, Godgarte.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard about microcontrollers earlier?
Yes, sir.
So which microcontroller you have heard about, and did you work on microcontrollers?
Sir,
Yeah.
like there is a microcontroller in Arduino.
Yeah, Arduino is the platform, so you can use any controller there.
Yeah, like Arduino Uno has a
Yeah,
microcontroller
so
in that.
Arduino Uno which you are going to buy, so that microcontroller is from the AVR family.
Yes, sir.
Atmega, we call it
Yes, sir.
Atmega something. Some number will be there. Okay, so this is a microcontroller. So, so in the microcontroller, what is there? What do you expect? There will be a computer, that is CPU. You know CPU from the school level, and there will be I/O, input output. Then there will be memory, right? Then you write codes in some language which are known as assembly language. And you code them into the memory. So the code resides as binary patterns in the memory. Then the processor is designed, CPU is designed in such a way that it will get the code, decode it, and execute. So what are the basic operation one microcontroller, one typical processor can do? It can add, it can subtract, it can multiply, it can divide, it can do logical operations. So these are operations which are done in a processor typically, and this wherever it is done, it is known as arithmetic logic unit. Is that clear to all of you? I think you did it in school level, right? So in a typical, so what is the difference between a laptop? Your laptop is an embedded system. Assis. Answer is not so, not really. So embedded system is what? First of all, the major component is a microcontroller or a processor, whatever. Then it has got a lot of interface. And most of the time it works in real time. That's why it is known as real-time embedded systems. We'll talk about it. So remember, this concept is based on few things. Embedded system, which you read nowadays, it changes, the definition changes every year. So the typical thing which is embedded system ES is computing and communication. It has got two things, computing and communication. And the third one is portability. That means you can really, what do you mean by portability? Your laptop is to some extent portable, but your mobile phone is really portable, right? Is it not? Arpit Arun or Arundhati Naskar, Arundhati. Whenever I'm taking your name, you should come. Okay, Arundhati, you have left, I think. That's not a good idea. Arundhati, are you there? Okay, Arundhati, whenever you can guys switch up your videos now. Whenever I ask someone, you switch on your video and come on. I will pin you there. Okay. So Arundhati, can you tell me portability? Let's talk about portability. What do you understand by portability?
Yes, sir. It can be like transferred from one place to another.
So what is the major problem with portability? Suppose your TV is a portable TV. What do you want to do with the portability? What should be done so that it is portable? Number one, it should be lightweight, right? If your cell phone would have been, let's say 5 kg would have been lightweight. Second is, it should have the power. The power should be self-powered. Okay, so it is a battery-powered system, mostly. So that is portability. So that means the power should be on board. So this makes a portability. And communication, it should communicate. Suppose I will give you this problem. You can switch off your video. So Abhiral Singh.
Thank you, sir.
No, not Abhiral. Let me write Harsh Singh. Harsh Singh, are you there, Harsh?
Yes, sir.
So Harsh, you switch on your video. Whenever I'm taking your name, please switch on your video and come to the. I'll just ask you by the discussions with you. Suppose Harsh. Suppose I give you this problem. I give you to measure the temperature of a particular room and send it to my cell phone. You got my point? I want you to measure I just give you a device which will be near you. So that would actually stream the temperature readings every 1 minute to your cell phone. Let's say this is the problem. So it will not be connected to your cell phone. It will be all wireless. So what are you going to do? What are the things you need? First of all, you need a temperature sensor.
Yes, sir.
So what are the temperature sensors available in the market? RTD is one temperature sensor. Then there are, thermocouples. So you choose one temperature sensor. If you go to the website, Google or somewhere, you can find lots of temperature sensor out there. What is the output of a temperature sensor?
So
But
it
you
provides the reading wirelessly to.
it does reading. It gives a value. What is that value? It doesn't give readings automatically. If you get a temperature sensor, what will be the output? If you look at the let's say you look at some temperature sensor, you go to Google and find out what are the temperature sensors available. Sensors for your room. If you see, there are lots of temperature sensors available. So these temperature sensors, for example, this one is a temperature sensor. I'll cut and paste. You can see here. This is a temperature sensor. You can see. Can you see? So this temperature sensor has 3 terminals. You have to connect these 3 terminals, bias it, right? Then you will get some analog voltage, right? What you get, the output of a temperature sensor will be, if you guys take it as a homework. You make a temperature sensor which will give you some readings, voltage readings. You make a circuit. So this temperature sensor gives you a voltage. Then what to do with the voltage? Yeah, Harsing.
Yeah, we will convert it into like appropriate reading. Like
Yeah, how? This is
proportional to
analog
the.
voltage. You'll get, if the temperature changes, the analog voltage will keep on changing. So what to do next? This temperature sensor has to have analog circuit. Right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
So this analog circuit has to be converted into what? You see, there are lot more temperature sensors in the net. If you find, these are the temperature sensors. Can you see? Lot more temperature sensors there. So you have to connect these temperature sensors to some analog circuit like op-amp or something, right? Operational amplifiers. You do this homework. Once you have these temperature sensors, you connect to some op-amp or something, you get a voltage, right? Right or wrong? So this
Right.
voltage, then what to do? How to transfer it to your Android device? Bolo, Harsing, tell something.
So wirelessly to Wi-Fi, I guess.
Forget about wireless. First, you have to do what? Analog to digital conversion. You have to do ADC, analog to digital conversion. You write down whatever I'm teaching. Actually, this is very systematical. I'm going. So you guys do not have to worry about the books. So you have to do ADC. Okay. I'll share this note to all of you. Don't worry about it. So that means the next thing is you have to do is A to D. So the temperature sensor, first is the temperature sensor, you can see. So the problem is to measure the room temperature and send it to your, so this is a temperature sensor. So then there is analog hardware like op-amps, etc. This much you do as homework. This is homework number 1, Pooja, please. So you get a voltage here. So this is the temperature here, theta, you get a voltage. So theta temperature is proportional to the voltage, right? So this voltage is analog. So this is converted to digital by A to D to C, ADC. Then you bring it to what? Some kind of processor, like, whatever 8-bit controller or microcontroller. Then you have communication, wireless communication. So then your cell phone, this is your cell phone. So this wireless communication has a standard. For example, it can be Bluetooth communication. It could be IoT, that is Wi-Fi communication. So the cell phone has to read these communication, these values, and update it. So there has to be a software on the cell phone. If you have Android phone, there has to be Android code, which will continuously monitor it and bring it to your cell phone memory. Is that clear, Harsing?
Yes, sir.
Have you heard about AD to A to D converters?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can switch off your video. So that means there has to be communication. Otherwise, without communication, you cannot get the values of the temperature. Okay, so computing. So when you have these values in the, so you have got the sensor. Then this is analog circuit. Then you have got this A to D converter, ADC. You got this microcontroller. So a sensor is this theta, T is the temperature. Here the sensor gives you small voltages, V. This analog circuit amplifies this voltage. That means this becomes VT. A to D converter samples it, becomes VN. Then microcontroller processes it. What is the processing? That means this temperature controller can have some noise, error, etc. So these errors has to be justified. You have to just, if the error is actually the temperature may not have that error because of the sensing and other circuits, there may be some errors. So these errors are sometimes noise. This processing means sometimes it is called filtering. You have to do the filtering. So after filtering, then communication. Is that clear to all of you? So the embedded system, one of the most important thing is sensing. Then computing. Then communication. So I shall give you a typical structure of a very elaborate embedded system right now. So this architecture is our architecture. It is our copyright. So I'm just showing. It is called I3 architecture. Is it visible to all of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can note down what is that. This I3 means incremental information inclusion. This is a typical embedded system. This is a typical architecture. This architecture has various levels of computing. So this computing, the first level of computing is known as edge computing. This one till here to here. Then second level of computing is local computing. Then there is cloud computing. There are three computing architectures here. So you can see there are lots of sensors here. For example, SV stands for stereo vision. TC stands for thermal vision, night vision. Then RS for radar scan, PLS for portable lidar scan, LiDAR, LIDAR. LFC is called light field camera. Then HSC for hyperspectral camera. And this PUVS is for some prior information. Priors, that means some priors are there. So these data, they get all aggregated at this computer. So each data is measured in real time. That means this is basically user data, which you feed it here, real time. And still, this is actually doing some kind of navigation. There is a big vehicle, which is the holds all of the sensors are put there. It is doing some navigation. And it is unmanned navigation. So therefore, naturally, there are several sensors like stereo vision, that is visual camera input, thermal camera input, then radar scan, then this portable LiDAR. LiDAR, you know, LiDAR laser scan. Nowadays, many telephones are coming with laser scan. Then this light field camera, then this hyperspectral camera. So these are different kinds of vision devices, which can perfectly characterize what it sees. Can you appreciate this kind of thing? Jagannath, Jangam Dinesh, please come in. Jangam Dinesh, please come in.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, thank you. So can you see what does it mean? What does it do? So there are sensors. Each sensor is associated with a computing device.
Yes.
And these devices are computing in real time. Right? All these devices are computing in real time. So
Yes,
this,
sir.
okay, like temperature of a room. So then they are communicating to a local computer, aggregating computer. This communication is wireless, maybe. Then from there the local computer again transfers to some cloud. 3 levels of information. One level is this information right here, which goes there, and any useful information which is filtered here and it is fed to the computer here. Second level of information, and this is the third level of information. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you see one thing? These edge computing devices which are here, like this temperature, if you send what every second or every millisecond, if you send the temperature to a local server, your bandwidth requirement is very large, is it not? If there are thousands of temperature sensors in IIT, and every temperature sensor in IIT is going to interact with the local server, every millisecond if you are trying to send data, so the bandwidth requirement increases. So this is just one sensor. Suppose there are multiple sensors. If there are multiple sensors, thousands of sensors, so everybody will feed the data. So that is not a good idea. So what is done is temperature, if it is not changing, no need to change. No need to send. Whenever the temperature is changing, you send. That means every time, unless until there is a change, you send the temperature. So my question is, so the edge computing or the local computing decides whether there is a change or not. Whenever there is a change, it sends, register the change. So there are certain local computing here. So a typical architecture of embedded system. Okay, you can switch off the video. Acha, Mamta. All right. So now, you decide on. So my question to you is: so homework number 2. Find all sensors on your cell phone. Irfan Hassan, Ifra Asif Hassan, Ifra or Asif Hassan, are you there? Asif Hassan. Hi, Asif. Asif, are you there? Asif, are you there? Asif Hassan. Okay, Dora Swami Bansi, are you there? Bansi?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you tell me what are the sensors in your cell phone? Tell me 1 or 2 sensors.
Cell phone.
Your microphone is a sensor, right?
Yes, sir.
So microphone.
Also, face recognition camera.
So microphone, right? So camera. Not face recognition, camera. Face recognition is software.
Screen.
Then Sensor, tell me, touch screen.
Yes, sir.
Sensor means you are getting inputs to the system. Tell me one more sensors. You have these gyro sensors.
Yes, sir.
Position sensing, right? Accelerometers. So that means
Yes.
accelerometers are there. Any other sensors?
Mm.
Find out all these sensors, whatever is there in your cell phone, your typical cell phone model, then you find out all the sensors. Then there are also actuators. Okay, there are actuators. In your cell phone, there are actuators. Tell me what are the actuators?
Actuators.
Your screen is an actuator, that means you are getting something. Then your speaker is actuator. There are few speakers. Then tell me an actuator means you are getting vibration. There is a vibrator inside, right? It vibrates. Then you
Yes.
get more actuators. Glass light
Oh,
actuators. So tell me more actuators.
also. Mm.
So all of you have to write your cell phone model. So your homework number 2 is sensors and actuator on your cell phone. If you can write codes on your cell phone, this will become one of the best computers, embedded computers for you. If you know how to code your cell phone, like in Android or iOS, whatever. So that is homework number 2. So you can switch up your video. Pooja, please register this homework. So that means you guys. So Asif Hassan, if you are not there, I'm sorry that I have to actually take you out on the meeting, remove from the meeting. Okay, I have just removed Asif from meeting because this guy has not lost. Okay, he will request again. So that means you got sensors. So one more thing which is added to your is sensors and actuators. Then interface, which has got analog, also digital. Then computing, which is called as processing. Then communication. So there are different standards of communication. So this is a new definition for embedded system for you. Sensors as actuators, interface, computing, communication. Let's see a typical. This is the picture of a typical embedded system architecture. A typical digital camera architecture. So typical reverse engineering a digital camera. ଖୋଲ ମାନେ ଖୋଲିଲେ ଏଇଟା କେମିତି ହବ? ଏଇଟା ହବନି। ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ନେଇ ଆସୁନ, ମୁଁ ସେଇଠି ଯୋଉ ଭିତରୁ ନେଇ ଆସୁ। Okay, let's. You guys have all seen digital cameras. I think most of you must be having one. Just I'll bring one image from internet about a typical digital camera. So let's reverse engineer and see what exactly it's one of the very interesting systems. If you look at here. So what are the different functionalities of digital camera? What are the functions when you buy a digital camera? Functions and specifications. Okay, so you tell me the functions and specification. Devraj Dev Kumar Goswami. Devraj. Are you there, Devraj? Okay. So tell me, what are you expecting? How do you buy a digital camera when you go for a digital camera? How do you buy it? What is the first specs you ask in the market? It is pixels. How many pixels? The resolution of the camera. Megapixels. You write megapixels, MP. What is the pixel size of your cell phone digital camera? Devraj? Are you there? Devraj Goswami? Are you there, Devraj? Okay, Priyam Rao. Priyam Rao, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you tell me how do you specify a digital camera when you go to the...
Sir, you look at the megapixel size, the lens size.
So a digital camera, typical digital camera will have a sensor. So this sensor,
Yes,
you
sir.
know, through the lenses, it comes to the sensor. So the first thing is, this is called a CCD device, charge coupled sensor, CCD sensor, charge coupled device sensor. Okay. So this sensor gets the picture, the reflectance pattern, and it divides into many small units. They are called pixels. So there will be three different, you know, RGB plane or different colors. Through these colors, there are three sensors which will be enabled. Okay, RGB, so that. Okay, so this RGB sensor, RGB, so there will be R, there will be one G, and there will be their B plane. So these sensors will correct the reflectance pattern. Okay. So these reflectance pattern are in the form of analog voltages. Please, Priyam, do you have a video? Can you show? You should show. Whenever asking, you should. Okay. So this will have a RGB pattern. So this then next, what it does it to A to D converter and then brings it to a central computer where it is stored in the memory. That's what a digital camera does. Sometimes it can also do video processing, right? So it can also record the video. So Priyam, can you tell me your cell phone? What is the size of your how many megapixel camera you got your cell phone has?
48 megapixel.
48 megapixel. So is it enough, or you are also interested in something else?
Sir, I think bigger sensors would be better.
So not only that, you can have, there are different kinds of zooms. That means you can do zooming by lens or you can do zooming digital. By zooming by lens, the lens through which the the reflectance comes to the camera. So that is very important. So the lens cost is also important. Okay. So therefore, cell phone camera, people who are professional, they don't use cell phone camera. They go for the actual SLR camera. Okay. DSLR cameras, where there is a typical good quality lens which gets you the reflectance pattern. So then what are the other functionality of a digital camera? So it can also do video recording. So video means it can also have a audio. Video means both image as well as the audio. Both has to be recorded, right? So that means your digital camera should take pictures, video, then not only that, clean them. So for example, you are going on a train or you are moving in a vehicle, you can also take pictures, which will be good. That means it can do the motion correction. That means if there is a vibration or there is a relative motion, it can do motion correction. That means a lot of processing has to happen on the processor. So we'll not discuss it more. We'll come back to this. Before that, so now let's do that. One of the processing which is done in that is digital signal processing. We'll come back to the memory, or digital image processing. So you can add something like real time here. That means you have to do the DSP, but you have to do in real time. That means we need a time limit. So there is the time constant. Within, for example, 1 millisecond, you have to process the whole signal. So this is called time constant. Also, your algorithm should operate within limited power. So therefore, there is a power constant. Otherwise, it will take a lot of battery power. Then there is a memory constraint. These three constraints will be there. And that decides your embedded system. All right. So now let's go to the first homework, work which you guys do. That is real time Okay, so Pritam Rao, you can switch off your video if you are there. Priyam Rao, you can switch off your video. Okay, so can you guys tell me, Sai Narayan, are you there, Sai Narayan?
Yes.
Yeah, switch on your video. Let me see you. Okay, Sai Narayan, tell me, what do you know about digital filtering?
Digital filtering.
Okay, so what do you know by digital convolution? Discrete time convolution.
Sir, one matrix is placed over another matrix, and like it. The blurring effect is an example of.
That is, don't worry. You just go back to your signals and system. If you have a digital system whose impulse response is h of n, and there is a signal x of n, the output is y of n. So y of n you can write as convolution of h of n.
And x
of n. How many of you know it? Can you just have you read it? Can you just raise your hand? Those who have read it. That means impulse response of a digital system is hn. If you heard about it, then there is a discrete in signal xn. Then the output is yn, which is a convolution of these two. How many of you have really heard it? Sai Naran, you can switch up your video. Just raise your hand. There are many people, they know it. So I think, yeah. Please raise your hand so that I don't have to teach it again. Otherwise, it will be very boring. Many people are not there, I think. Chikala Prem Kumar, are you there? Chikala Prem Kumar. Chikala, are you there? Chikala Prem Kumar. No, either you don't attend. If you are there, actually, you should respond. Otherwise,
Yes, sir.
Chikala.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you tell me whether you have heard about it. Raise your hand. Akar Singh. Akar Singh.
Yes, sir.
So raise your hand if you have heard about it. I don't have to teach it again. That's why I'm saying. Okay. So whenever there is an analog signal x of t, you sample it, then make it analog to digital conversion, you get xn. So you can sample at 8-bit, 10-bit, 12-bit, 16-bit, 24-bit. It depends upon you. So this is called A to D converter. So xt, you get xn. Okay, for example, suppose you are speaking. If you are speaking or if you are singing, let's say you are singing. If you are singing and recording your song in your cell phone or laptop, so what exactly happens? You have a mic to which you sing. So you are singing here. So this mic amplifies your signal first, amplifies. Then it goes to A to D conversion. So what is the sampling frequency of your, you can stop your hand. So what is the sampling frequency of your laptop, which you're attending now? Tell me. Your audio codec, if you record the audio, what is the sampling frequency? Maximum you can have. Harshal Lakshman, Khamkar Harshal Lakshman.
Yes, sir.
What is the sampling frequency of your laptop? You can don't have to raise your hands. You can put down your hands. Yeah, Harshal Lakshman.
Yes, sir.
What is the sampling frequency of your laptop when you record your voice?
Actually, I don't have idea.
You check it today. When you record your voice on your laptop from the network, if you guys find out what is the sampling frequency. So in my laptop here, which I'm teaching, is a Mac Pro. So the sampling frequency is 96 kilohertz. 96 kilohertz is the maximum sampling frequency. I can reduce it to 44. I can make it 24, 16, 8.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
But what's the use of having a sampling frequency more than 40 kilohertz?
Excellent. Excellent question. I'll just find it. And I was going to ask this question to you. Okay. We'll discuss about it. Then what is the bit size? Bit, number of bits. How many bits is your sampling? Can you check your laptop or whatever you are using? So you'll find it will be 16-bit or 24-bit. So mine is 16-bit. I can make it 24-bit also. All right. So this is the, so that means I am singing. So my voice is getting sampled. So this sampling, happens in time as well as frequency. Why there is a sampling time? Can you not have any arbitrary sampling time occurs? अरे occurs, तुम फिर से आ
Yes,
गए.
sir.
तुम्हारा नाम ए से है, हमेशा तुम्हारा नाम ही आएगा, इसीलिए पूरा अलर्ट रहना पड़ेगा. जो ए में है और जिसका नाम लास्ट है, तो बीच बीच वाला थोड़ा तुम लोगों का नाम बार बार आएगा. वाह. एवरीबडी पुट योर पिक्चर्स, अदरवाइज आई कैन नॉट रिकॉग्नाइज यू. ओके. यस, थैंक यू. तो सैम्पलिंग फ्रीक्वेंसी क्या क्या जरूरत है? आई एम सिंगिंग, सो आई कैन हैव एनी, आई कैन सैंपल. व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय दिस सैम्पलिंग फ्रीक्वेंसी?
Yes, sir. When like human hearing range is from 20 to 20 kilohertz, so the maximum frequency at which we can like say or speak is 20 kilohertz, and usually, as we had learned earlier, that usually at least any sampling rate.
फ्रीक्वेंसी का फंडा कहाँ से आता है? सपोज एक सिग्नल आपको दिया गया है, सो व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय सैम्पलिंग? वेयर शुड आई सैंपल एंड हाउ टू सैंपल? Suppose your,
Yes, sir.
your speech is there.
We cannot have infinite data storage. That's why we take samples at certain time intervals, usually equidistant time intervals. To
switch up your video. I'll just ask the whole class. How do I decide what is my sampling frequency?
At least more than twice the maximum.
Yeah. That's what you have told very useful things. I will reiterate whatever you have said, but just let me ask to the whole class. How many of you can answer this? Of course, you can switch up your video. So I'm asking the whole class. Can you tell me, any one of you, what is this concept of sampling frequency? Binod Kumar. Hey, Binod Kumar. ऑनलाइन क्लास होने से क्या होता है, ये लोग अटेंड नहीं करता एक्चुअली, खाली ज्वाइन करके बैठ जाए. विनोद कुमार, आर यू देयर? Yes.
Hello.
What is this concept of sampling frequency? How do you decide?
So sampling frequency is, I think, coming from our storage of the size of our computer or the laptop or the phone, like where we have it.
What should be the limited? No, sampling basically कब तक storage का प्रॉब्लम, कितना कम हो सकता है?
Hello.
So how do I decide the sampling frequency? How much should I have?
Sir, minimum.
Minimum कितना होना चाहिए?
Minimum, I think that is.
अभी तो उसने बोला, तुमने सुना नहीं, इसीलिए तुम यार खाली.
No.
Swarna Babag, you tell me. Swarna Babag.
Yes, sir.
वीडियो ऑन करो, मुझे बताओ सैम्पलिंग फ्रीक्वेंसी का फंडा क्या है?
Sir, means in a continuous system, if we take all the data for a continuous system, it takes up a lot of space. So we take certain intervals of it to make it discrete.
So how should I decide? How much minimum I should have?
Such that I get it means at par with the continuous system, and also it takes up less space. Means I get it in optimum space.
Around that point, you tell me the point. So have you heard about Shannon sampling theorem?
Not exactly.
Yes. Suppose I have a bandwidth. So that means you have a bandwidth of a signal. You please read this. You read electrical engineering ना, ये सब थोड़ा पहले पढ़ो. तुमको तो बाद में पढ़ाएगा, लेकिन ये सब पहले से जान लो, नहीं तो कुछ नहीं सीखोगे. IIT में आए हो, कुछ नहीं सीखोगे. You will just go blank. If you want to really learn something, you read these things. Okay. This Shannon sampling theorem you read today. Okay. So whenever I have a continuous system, continuous signal, if I sample it, I should be able to reconstruct it. Okay. Otherwise, sampling तुम जो बोल रहे हो should be representable so that I reconstruct the original signal. So speech, for example, my speech bandwidth is, let's say, 20 kilohertz. Somebody said, not 20 kilohertz. If you speak, it will be 5 kilohertz, not more than 5 kilohertz, or more 3 kilohertz or 2 kilohertz. So you sample in such a way, If you reconstruct it, you will get back your speech signal. So that is just decided by Shannon sampling theorem. If you plot the spectrum of the signal or the Fourier transform, if there is a bandwidth, so you should have twice that bandwidth, twice the maximum frequency component present. It should be more than that. That is Shannon sampling. Everybody of the class, please read this, okay? Because I will not be able to teach you digital signal processing. Similarly, you sample in the spatial image also, you do some sampling so that actually you can reconstruct the whole image. So these are the samples. Now the question is, so the minimum sampling is known, maximum is decided by the storage space. You are right. Then somebody asked why, if your speech is around 20 kilohertz or maybe less than that, 5 kilohertz, why need 96 kilohertz? 96 kilohertz is required for music. Remember. So for music, you need high frequency sampling. Otherwise, the quality of music will be destroyed. Because when you play this music on the speakers, you should have all the bandwidth present so that. So for music, it is required. And one more thing is, sometimes you have to do sampling in a round robin fashion. That means you have many channels, so you have to do sampling one after the other. So in a cell phone, so now back, do you have any idea what is the sampling frequency for speech?
44, like that.
No, it is 8 kilohertz for communication, and it is 8 bits. Okay, because communication, just your speech has to be communicated, but for music it is higher. So when you are, let's say you are recording music, okay, if you are recording music, suppose you are recording for 5 minutes your music, your sampling frequency, let's say your sampling frequency is 40 kilohertz. The number of bits is 16 bits, let's say. So what will be the storage space required for 5 minutes? Vaibhav Singh, batao, Vaibhav Singh. So now you can switch off your video. Vaibhav Singh, please tell me how much time, how much space you need for 5 minutes with 40 kilohertz sampling and 16-bit record. So what is the sampling time? 1/40th of a millisecond. So in 1 millisecond, you are getting 2 bytes. In 1 second, how many bytes? 60,000. 1 second, 1,000. That is 40,000 bytes, right? 1 second, you'll get 40,000 into 280,000, 80 kilobytes. Please correct me. In 5 minutes, how much? So 80 into 60 into 5 KB. So how much it is?
So 2400 kilobytes.
24 megabytes for 5 minutes, right?
Yes.
So don't you think it is little bit of very big data? No, 24 megabyte song, you cannot really transport it. Is it not? It's very difficult. So if you have many songs, it's very difficult. So what is done? This song has to be compressed. So you have got this MP3 formats, etc. That means the song is compressed by some algorithm, some kind of filtering or some kind of processing. You compress the song. Again, you send it at the other end, you decompress it.
Yes.
Is that clear? So now, Patita Bhavan, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
So you guys have to do things today. All of you go to. How many of you do not know MATLAB? Please raise your hand. Please raise your hand. So Patita Bhavan, just go to MATLAB and using FDA tools, give a small demo of filter design. Do you have the computer with you?
Right now, sir, I don't have actually.
Okay, so I said. So what you can do is, okay, let me do it for them. So let's consider a low pass filter, LPF. Okay. So tomorrow you should give the demo, okay, in the Proteus in that class, okay. Low pass filter. Aditya Saha, can you tell me how do you specify a low pass filter? Low pass filter, how to specify? Frequency domain.
Sir, it only allows lower frequencies to pass, and it will taper off or attenuate anything which is beyond a particular.
So that means an ideal low pass filter, if the frequency is here, so the bandwidth will be like this, right? This is your cutoff. Right, this is cutoff frequency, then so this is 1 is the gain, after that the gain is 0. So do you have a negative frequency also for low pass filters?
Yes, sir, not in my knowledge.
Actually, the frequency domain, you have got both positive and negative frequencies. In a Fourier transform, you will get both. So low pass filter is specified from minus omega c. Omega c is the cutoff frequency. Okay. So this is the cutoff frequency. So omega c is the cutoff frequency. This is specified. So once you have know the cutoff frequency, then you can design this filter. So this design you can do by some tools. In MATLAB, Pratita Baban will tell you about the tools how to design it. Once you have low pass filter, then for example, you are having a speech signal. Let's say low pass filter for speech signal.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So, but we generally do not consider negative frequencies, right?
Yes, very good question. Okay, suppose I have a sinusoidal signal. Xt is a sin omega t. Okay, sin capital omega t like this. Okay, let me just, I am sorry about it. Signals and system thoda brush up karenge. So xt is a signal which is a sin omega naught t. Okay. So if you do the Fourier transform, how does it look like? Aditya, can you tell me the Fourier transform?
Yes, sir. So there will be a peak at omega naught t.
Omega naught t. So if you plot with omega 0 to infinity this side and 0 to minus infinity this side. So where will be what is the plot of this Fourier transform? Spectrum. So, spectrum तो पढ़ा होगा ना तुम लोग.
So there will be an impulse.
Impulse कहाँ पे होगा?
Sir, at omega naught t.
Omega naught t क्या है? Omega naught.
Yes, sir. Sorry. Yes.
Then only one impulse will be there.
So I'm not sure, but should there be one on the negative?
If you write this, what is the ay2 e to the power j omega naught t minus ay2 e to the power minus j omega naught t. So there will be two frequencies. One is negative minus ay2 at minus omega naught. This is positive omega, right? Fourier transform, this is the Fourier transform. So if there is a real signal, there will have one positive frequency and a negative frequency.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right?
Yes, sir.
Acha, Chandra Prakash. So Aditya, you can switch off. Chandra Prakash, can you come, Chandra Prakash? Chandra Prakash, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So video switch on karo. You tell me a signal where there is no negative frequency.
No negative frequency.
First of all, will it be a real signal or complex signal?
Sir, real signal.
Nah, you see, if I take a signal like this, so it will have only one frequency. All of you, please read about these things. Brush off your signals or systems. Otherwise, do you get it? Because you have only one frequency, a complex signal. Can you tell me some examples of a complex signal? Can anyone give me examples of a complex? Can you give some examples of complex signal? Chandra Prakash or anybody who can give, raise your hands. Radar signals are complex signals. Sometimes XY plane, you get two signals orthogonal to each other. That's a complex signal. So there are many signals which are complex. XT plus JYT, something like that. So those signals you can have only real Fourier transform. So you are doing with real systems. Therefore, in real systems, real impulse response is real, not complex. So therefore, you'll have both positive frequency and negative frequency. Is it clear to all of you? इतना सारा लोग है, कोई हाथ नहीं उठाता है. चलो ठीक है. I think I will stop here today. Okay. So tomorrow, Patita Baban will take the demo class. I have given you few homeworks which will be uploaded there. You do the homework and submit this week. By next week you should submit. And today is the first class. I have given you a lot of things. So you what you have to learn in advance little bit is this processor, which I'm going to share share with you. Here is it. All of you download this to your computer. Can you see my screen? This is the controller in which you are going to work. Atmega 328 or something like that. It is a 8-bit AVR microcontroller with. So you download this whole thing to your. You need to do this. So it depends upon the controller which you are buying. In the chat box, you see which controller you are buying. I have already shared in the chat box. You have to do a lot of work. Actually, I will not have money. I will not interfere in your work, but I think you should do yourself and learn things. And if you are really motivated to do something, this Uno board you buy, this Uno board, this is the one. You can see. There are two versions of this. One is 328p board is there. Then there is one more board, I think, from Amazon. Amazon board is little sleek, small thing, I think. This is the one, I think. So one is SMD, surface mount device. So you have to do assembly language coding, all right? So this has got, only few instructions. We'll talk about each of them next class. RISC architecture, peripherals, communications. You'll see the electrical specifications. So you download this, or I can also upload here in the chat box. Yeah, this one. Yeah, I have also uploaded it. You don't have to do it in the chat box.
Sir?
Yes.
So like by what time we need to buy and accumulate those components?
Today, as soon as possible. Today, by next week, your work will start. First Proteus this week, next week on the hardware. You have to do assembly language coding, okay?
Sir, in that case, can we buy it from a local store and save the receipt? I mean, is it must that it should be from Amazon? Because for Amazon, it won't get delivered at my home soon.
No problem, absolutely no problem. But as long as the specification matches, which I have shared, it doesn't matter where you buy. Amazon is not paying me anything, so you can buy. Yes.
So, like in my area, in local shops, like these electronic components are not available, so I have to order it online. So it takes some time.
It is up to you. Acquire them as soon as possible, because in the last semester also people did this. So what to do? You have to learn, and I don't think you will lose anything in the online class if you do according to the class. If you are attentive, if you participate in the classes, you lose nothing. Grading will not be bad, because in online classes we are a little bit, we go with the students. So, but you will not learn anything if you don't do. We are working very hard to really make you learn this embedded system. The small things, theory and practice, it will match. It is not that you write some codes like, machine learning codes from something like that, blindly. It's not like that. You have to understand the system. Right. So therefore, you need to buy those stuffs. If you can buy additional stuffs also, you convert your whole table into a lab. You like it. All right. So I think that's it. That's it. If you have any questions, you please tell me. Otherwise, you will stop here.
So, sir, is there any book we have to follow or we can refer?
Yeah, there is a book by Majidi. So there is a book by Majidi. Let me see whether I can. Basically, you will follow these data sheets. Okay, these data sheets which I'm saying, you will follow. But there is a good book by Majidi. ABR microcontroller and programming, assembly language programming. You can buy that one. Majidi, okay, assembly language program. Let me see, Majidi is there or not. I think it is there in my computer also. Majidi ABR programming. Let me see. Google. Let me tell you in the Google. So you can buy the other board later. Don't buy now. The ESP board. First you finish with this, then you'll buy the ESP board.
Sir, those who are in campus, can they come to the lab to collect the component? If
Lab
they
is
are
shut
there?
down. Lab is shut down. You should have been in the lab actually. Everybody is waiting, but it is shut down. This one is a good book. You can buy this book. VR microcontroller. But this is because I'm in US, so it is showing $25. But in India, it is very cheap. Okay. The ABR micro embedded system using assembly and C, using Arduino Uno and Arduino 30, whatever. Okay. So tomorrow, Pratitapapan will tell you what exactly you have to install. I think he can. So he does those homeworks. So I think you have to have this Atmel Studio and Proteus, then how to write assembly code. So you will give a demo, then you follow it. Anything else, Pratitapapan? Any more questions, you guys?
Sir, for the lab shifting, like if we swap with someone else, then whom do we have to tell that we have swapped with?
Two professors. Suppose you are shifting with Professor X with Y, so write the mail to both, and both of you should copy each other. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Right then. All right. Bye bye. See you tomorrow. Pratitapapan will be there.